Hello, hello, lovely listeners.
All of you ghouls and goblins.
And everything in between. Welcome to Across the Veil with Zelda
and Emma.
Hello, hello, lovely listeners.
Hi.
How is everyone today?
I'm hoping good.
I'm hoping good.
Yeah.
How is all of us? There are a few of you. So we decided to make our super fun and spooky cocktail live for you guys.
Yeah.
So here we go. This is our very own little recipe that we actually made because there was a bar in New Orleans when we went to college called Cure, and we like to go after shows or just, for special occasions with friends. And they had this amazing cocktail menu.
It was so good.
And this drink, I think, was called the Saturn?
It was like Saturn Rising or something.
Saturn Rising.
Yeah.
And it tasted like fall.
It tasted like fall. Like, it was just autumnal in a glass.
But it was delicious, so we thought we'd recreate it in our own little way for you guys.
Yes.
I'm going to pop the champagne, so it might get a little loud. Ready?
A little jump scare.
3, 2, 1. And I said champagne, which was a lie, because it's Prosecco.
Champagne only comes from the Champagne region of France.
Otherwise, it's just sparkling
Wine.
asshole.
Asshole?
Yeah, because it's very pretentious to just be like, the video looks great. Okay, wonderful, because we can't see ourselves.
We cannot see ourselves, even a little bit.
So basically, how we're making this cocktail is we're filling up our lovely little glasses, courtesy of my mom. They're beautiful. 2/3 of the way full with Prosecco. We are using Dolce Vita Prosecco because it was 5 cents at Bevmo. Thanks, Bevmo.
Thanks, Bevmo. Sponsor us.
Yeah, we're not sponsored, but we'd like to be.
We would like to be. That would be fun for us.
And now the most important aspect of our cocktails is our apple cider cinnamon simple syrup.
Apple cider cinnamon simple syrup.
Apple cider cinnamon simple syrup. That's a good one.
It's a good one.
And basically, it's a classic simple syrup. Add just a little dollop to your drink. A little drinky dollop.
A little drinky dollop.
So simple syrup is basically water and sugar, and then you melt them together. But instead of water, use apple juice and add in a little bit of cinnamon at the very end. It smells so good.
God, it smells so fucking good.
It smells so good.
So good. It's so good.
It smells like Halloween candles.
Yeah.
But you can taste it, which is 10
Lovely.
times better.
Lovely. Zelda does like the taste of wax.
I have never eaten wax.
She likes the taste of it.
I have never eaten wax. I just like candies that people say smelled like a candle. I have not.
We had popcorn once, and we were all like, ew, it tastes exactly like a candle. And she was like, delicious.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good popcorn.
It was not.
And to top it off, we have a little apple cider here, except we got a special one, also from Bevmo, also not sponsored. But it's limited release craft cider with a little bit of pumpkin in there.
Gluten-free, sugar-free.
Just sugar-free?
Yeah, it says sugar-free, no added sugars. Oh, I guess
no added
no
sugar.
Added
It's not sugar-free.
That's on me. That's on me.
Just tap off that little bad boy, and you've got yourself the VVitch cocktail. The VVitch.
Cheers. Delicious. It's actually so good.
I would like to live deliciously, and this is how I'm doing it.
Oh, I should have worn my live deliciously. I have a shirt from the VVitch that says, "What's that like to live deliciously?"
And the answer is always.
Always. Cheers.
Cheers to all of you listening at home. So we used apples in this drink because apples actually show up in the movie. We didn't just pull this out of our ass. We thought it through.
We did think it through a little bit.
A little bit.
The little boy, Caleb, vomits an apple. So, fun thing, spoilers will be coming.
Spoilers will be coming, and this is a horror movie, so we will be talking about
really awful things.
Kind of intense topics. Just telling you guys straight up, we might talk about broomstick masturbation.
Infanticide. Baby murder.
Baby murder and other murder. But, mostly the baby murder is the one that's going to freak people out.
Probably the triggering thing.
So, if you're not comfortable with any of that, we're very sorry to see you go. But we're very glad you stayed for cocktail.
Yeah. Cheers to that, bitch.
Cheers to you.
So I guess we should start by kind of giving a small overview of what the movie is about.
Yes,
For those of you who haven't seen it. So the VVitch is essentially about a family in like puritanical times living in Massachusetts who leave their sort of farm, commune, whatever, settlement,
The homestead,
plantation.
they call it the plantation.
They call it the plantation because of the father's prideful conceit, which I believe is just like he's all uppity about God, like a little too uppity.
Yeah, everyone there is uppity about God, but he's like too far
extra uppity.
Yeah, he's the horse girl of God in the town.
Horse girl of God on God, bro.
On God.
On God. And so they leave the town, and then they start a farm near like these very scary looking woods, still in Massachusetts. And the mother has a baby, and they're also
2 young twins who we thought were like 5 or 6.
Mercy and Jonas. Then the oldest son is Caleb, and then the eldest daughter.
10.
Yeah.
And the oldest daughter, Thomason, is like 13, 14.
Something like that. And so the mother has the baby on the farm, and they're all kind of like living okay, but there's not a lot of food. Their crops aren't growing very well. And then one day, Thomason is chilling, playing with the baby, whose name is Sam. And she's like, peekaboo, peekaboo, and then she peekaboos, and the baby's fucking gone. It's gone.
It's just gone.
So everybody freaks out, because like, where's the baby? Turns out the baby has been taken by a witch in the forest.
As babies often do.
As they are often wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so that throws the whole family into quite the tizzy.
I'd say they have a tizzy.
I'd say it's tizzying for them. And the mom is like, you killed the baby, to Thomason. Thomason's like, it was a wolf. But then she's like, I didn't see a wolf. And it kind of leads to, they're like, also like, we're going to starve. And they decide that they're going to pretty much sell Thomason away. And the mom hates her for it as well. A lot of family drama in there.
Few mommy issues.
Yeah.
Few daddy issues.
Mm-hmm. The little boy, Caleb, then goes into the forest with Thomason, trying to help her find a way to like not get fucking sold off by her parents.
Yeah.
When they also run into a little bit of a snafu with a witch again. And so he gets seduced by a witch, and then they're like, Thomason, you done it again. You killed another kid. And she's like, I super didn't.
That's our second sibling you killed, Thomason.
Boy, you done fucked up. Where he at? He comes back, though, but he's major fucked up.
Yeah, he's totally naked, wandering through the woods.
And then he's pretty much possessed, because he had,
he kissed a witch. We see him kiss a witch.
He had relations with a witch. And then he is pretty much possessed and is like, my father, my God, Jesus, help me, vomits up an apple.
And they're like, oh my God, he's really possessed.
And then they're like, pray for him. And then the 2 little fucking evil children.
Evil little
shits are like, it was Thomason, she did it.
She's a witch.
We can't pray because of Thomason. The mom's like, she's a witch. Thomason's a witch. And Thomason's like, I've literally done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing. And then Caleb dies. Sad. R.I.P. in peace, King. And so the mom's like, you went to hell, just like the baby. And then things get way worse. The 2 twins also talk about how the
twins are acting possessed.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're trying to convince their parents Thomason's a witch.
But they've also been communing with a special fellow named Black Phillip.
Who's the family goat, but also Satan.
Also Satan. Secret Satan. That he's been whispering to them. All night. He's just whispering songs, so they sing little annoying songs. Yeah. And then they sing
really annoying
songs. I be the witch of the wood. And so then, following that, things get way, way, way worse. And the dad now kind of believes that Thomason is a witch. He locks the twins and Thomason up in a barn with
Black
Phillip, the evil massive goat. And they're like, are you a witch? And Thomason's like, no. And she's like, are you guys witches? And the children are like, no. Then whilst in the barn at night, a witch comes to them and is drinking
goat milk, but the goat milk is blood.
Yeah. And they're all like, ah! And then the mom has a vision of her 2 dead kids and tries to breastfeed her baby. Turns out it's actually a crow eating her tit.
Hate when that happens.
Happens all the time to me. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get used to the pecking.
A fun fact about it, though, just to start our little fun facts, because
we got fun facts for y'all.
They did that shot in one take because they had a really well-trained crow, and she was wearing like a fake boob.
Big tit.
And it was just a really, really talented crow. And just pecked at her, and they're like, "We got the shot. We're done."
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's actually really impressive. Like, apparently, all the goats and stuff to work with were absolute
nightmares.
Absolute
Black
nightmares.
Phillip, absolute
nightmare. But the crow.
The crow did his work.
Mm-hmm. So, mom's gone crazy.
Dad's gone crazy.
Thompson wakes up in the barn. Both Mercy and Jonas, the evil fucking twins who I hate more than anything, they're gone. They're out.
Thank God.
Bitch.
Good riddance.
Thank God. And Thompson goes out. Dad's like, "You kill them." She's like, "What?" And then he gets gored by Black Phillip, then falls and dies because all of the wood he has yet to chop crushes him to death.
It's very funny because Thomason is like shaded him. She's like, "The only thing you're good for is chopping wood. You can't even make the crops grow." And then he gets crushed to death by all the wood he hasn't chopped yet.
It's an excellent moment.
Yeah, it's a good for her moment.
And then he's dead, and then the mom is like, "Thomason,
you killed our whole family.
You killed the whole family. Time for you to die." Attacks her, tries to strangle her to death. Thompson has a spade. Stabs the mom.
Sorry, Mom.
Mom's dead. She's gone. She out this bitch. Then Thompson goes into the barn, and she's like, "Ayo, Black Phillip, are you actually Satan, though?" And he's like,
"Yeah."
"Dost thou like the taste of butter? Wouldst thou like a pretty dress? Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?" And she's like, "Fuck yeah!" And so she disrobes.
Gotta get naked.
Signs his black book, goes into the woods, finds a whole coven of witches dancing around a fire, who then start to float, and she starts to float too, and it's all happy days, because now she's a witch and indebted to the devil.
Yeah.
So, cheers to that bitch.
Cheers to that. That was our funny little summary of the VVitch. You know why they call it the VVitch?
I think I do, but why don't you tell the folks?
Hi, folks. I'm going to tell you why we call it the VVitch. It's because back in ye old Englandy times, W's weren't really a thing.
They were not a thing.
So they just used 2 V's, which is pretty much what a W is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Although it's called
a W, not a double V.
I mean, double V is kind of like, I guess it's the same as a W. Like, I don't see.
There's a point.
No.
I don't see the point?
No, I don't see the point in, like, changing it to a W instead of just calling it a double V. That's just me. That's just me. Oh, God.
I'm glad we're not linguists.
No, we're not. But that actually plays into a lot of one thing I wanted to discuss, which is the historical accuracy of the film, which is
crazy.
Insane. So Robert Eggers is the director, and he went hard when it came to historical accuracy. And so he did a ton of research because he actually grew up in Massachusetts. So, like, the Salem witch trials were always a thing that was part of his culture, in a sense. Like,
yeah, what you grow up learning. You learn about, the place you live.
Yeah, exactly. And so he always had this on his mind, so he did a ton of research on the Salem witch trials, but also exactly how they spoke back then. They're speaking Jacobean English, because Shakespeare was a huge influence at the time, so even people who didn't know how to read that much, which actually literacy had gone significantly up because people wanted to be able to read the Bible once it had been officially translated into English. And so people were very familiar with Jacobean and Shakespearean English and did speak like that. And so he talked about how he would read farmers' wills, which they had essentially, because some of them couldn't, like, write, but they dictated, and it still kind of sounded very, like, beautiful in that sort of language with the B's and the dies.
Dies and dime,
thy devil's yoke.
Yeah. This is an impossible movie to watch without subtitles, however.
It's very difficult.
We do not recommend it.
Our candle be poppin'.
Our candle be poppin'. They put some stuff in the candle. It's one Emma got me for my birthday, actually, from Mother Shipton's Apothecary, which is an Etsy shop. We'll post the link somewhere. But they've got little flower petals in there, and those are poppin'.
They be poppin'. But so he did a ton of research into the way they talked, and so he read these journals, and things like that, and actually used a lot of it from, used a lot of the dialogue from these actual journals from Salem, like the Salem witch trials and just other primary sources. And then when it came to the set design, they very specifically called in like a Thatcher to make them, like an actual,
like Margaret.
Yeah, like Margaret. Yeah, they called her Margaret Thatcher.
Sorry.
Like Margaret?
Like Margaret, the Thatcher.
No, but they called in a contractor who specialized in thatching to create as historically accurate set pieces for the farm as possible. So it was how it would have been in that time period.
Except they were in Canada, because it's cheaper to film there.
It is much cheaper to film in Canada.
Much cheaper to film in Canada. That's where a lot of movies get filmed.
The only part of the movie that was actually filmed in Massachusetts was the opening scene where the dad is on trial in the church.
And they're just in a church that whole time. You didn't even know.
Which is actually I believe it was a modified stable.
I think that's a good, I haven't read the Bible, but that sounds like Jesus was born in a stable, the church is a modified stable.
I'm gonna have to tell you, I think it was just because it was cheap.
But listen, you take it and you milk it.
No,
You're like, hey, it's biblical, baby.
I love the dedication. So yeah, from their clothing to the way they spoke to even the instruments they were using to like chop wood, all historically accurate. Even the type of horse that they used was specific to the time period. The only things that weren't were the dog was slightly different and the goats were slightly different because, they had to have trained animals and you can't be too picky when it comes to goats.
Yeah.
Because goats.
There's not like a goat IMDb. Like, you get the goat you're given.
You really do. You really do. But yeah, so all of it was super important to him to the degree where I've read in interviews with him that he got kind of mad at himself that he didn't CG out Anna Taylor-Joy, who's the lead actress who plays Thomasin, also Queen. Incredible.
Queen.
Iconic.
This is like her breakout role. So if you want to see her as a baby, she's like teeny tiny in this one. It's cute.
But so he got mad at himself that he didn't CG out her earring holes because he wanted to be that historically accurate. And he also filmed on, do you remember the exact aspect ratios? He used
vintage cameras in order to film, so, because you were saying that it looks flatter on the screen.
Well, actually,
different dimensions.
Yeah, the dimensions are sort of off, as well as the, just like the way things look, so it gives sometimes more of a slightly fisheye effect, and it makes the depth of perception look different, so the woods looked more
horrifying
and tall, and it also created sorts of blurring in the background, which gave an even spookier vibe. Very cool stuff. He did it even more in his next movie, which was The Lighthouse. If you've seen The Lighthouse,
he's got it. He's got a vibe to him. The whole vibe.
Whole vibe. But I concur. So yeah, that's some cute little behind the scenes facts about
background
the film.
Shall we re-up?
I'll re-up our drinks?
Yes. And also, this is an interactive platform. If you're typing in the chat, if you have any questions, do so at any time and we will respond to you.
We will indeed.
They are updating for us. I don't think, you might be a little behind, but we will get to you. So please ask us questions, interact in the chat, because now we're going to start talking shit about children.
Yes, we are.
Because we have things to say.
I hate those twins.
Oh my God.
I hate them on a deep level. Ooh. She almost spelled, but she saved it.
I said ye and I said ha. My very expensive microphone is right here.
Yep. Because this conversation will be put onto our normal streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, probably this week.
Yeah, as soon as we get around to it.
Yeah. Okay. It'll be very simple.
It'll happen, yeah. We're not gonna cut anything out, so.
No. It's good to go, baby.
Enjoy the chaos. Chaos Samar.
Chaos reigns. But let's talk about, should we talk about the things that we like the most, or should we talk about the things that we hate the most?
I think we're very passionate about the children, and we need to get it out of the way.
Yeah, so Jonas and Mercy. Let's talk twins, shall we?
They're so
They are the fucking worst. I hate them.
If they didn't exist, this movie wouldn't happen. Why?
I actually disagree. I think it would be the same movie without the twins. Like, I mean...
I think they made things exponentially worse by saying she was a witch and then lying about it.
Yeah, so, okay. So one of the big issues with the twins is that there's a scene where Thomasin... And actually, I have some comments about this scene in general, which because I think it's very interesting. So, Thomasin and Caleb are by the creek. And Caleb's kind of like, having a hard time because of, I think it was...
They lied to their mom about selling her favorite cup to get bear traps to get food for the winter.
The dad and Caleb lied about that, and he's feeling real guilty about it because
lying's a sin.
Lying's a sin. It's a sin.
It's a sin.
And so Thomasin is like, and also they're all talking Yorkshire accents. She's like, "What are you talking about, Caleb?"
Yeah.
What's troubling you, brother?
Look into thine heart and
Look into thine heart and tell me what you're thinking about. And he's like, I don't fucking know. I'm gonna look at your titties because that's like a thing.
He does keep looking at Anya Taylor-Joy's non-existent titties because she's 13, lustfully.
Yeah.
I think out of some of the horror, that's the weirdest is him just heavy breathing.
Heavy breathing. Every so often. He's just like. And there's nothing there. And it's his sister.
And she's also, like, fully clothed. Like, it's a little bit of collarbone.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, those collarbones! Oh, damn.
It's very unfortunate to watch.
But to get to the children. So they're hanging out by the creek, getting water. He's sad. She's like, what's up? And then fucking Mercy and Jonas come out of
they're playing around.
And they just start going, like, I be the witch of the woods. You're the witch of the woods. You cast spells upon us. You're a sinner. To Thomasin. And they're being really annoying because they just whine and scream and they don't do anything. At one point, they're even put on the goddamn leashes because they're so annoying.
They do get ye old leashed.
To, like, a fence. Like, they're literally trying to run away. And they
screaming.
I hate them.
Very
so they're just being cunty to Thomasin and rude, and they're just awful. And so then Thomasin finally is like, I'm gonna fight back against you. And so then that's when she's like, I be the witch of the woods. At night my spirit comes from my body, and I fly around at night within the woods. I took Sam, and I killed him, and I ate his entrails. And if you tell mother and father, I'm gonna get you too, and you'll disappear.
Like sibling stuff.
Classic.
Just classic sibling stuff.
What's interesting is that a lot of her speech actually kind of foreshadows the rest of the movie, where she says that that Sam was stolen, that she's gonna witch the family, specifically Caleb, and Caleb does get witched. And that she says that she'll make the twins disappear, and they do disappear. So everything she says does happen, but it's all in a threat to Mercy, who's being like, I'm gonna tell mother and father that you're the witch. And then she's like, if you do it, I'll fucking kill you. But it all comes true, but she actually doesn't do anything about it. What's nice though is that it does shut those little fuckers up for a while.
Until Caleb gets sick.
Yeah, until Caleb gets witched.
And then they say it's Thomasin, even though it isn't. Mm-hmm. And then they pretend that she's witching them too.
Yeah. Oh, we got a little fun fact in the comments.
From Kath. Hi, Kath.
By the way, the W is called W because there was no V in Anglo-Saxon times. But also, when printing press came around, I believe that the letter U and the letter V were interchangeable in print for a long time. Interesting. Learned something new every day. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you.
But anyways, yeah. So they just kind of spend the entire movie kind of gaslighting everyone.
And I mean, to be fair, these are children. But they are terrible. And we hate them.
There's no excuse. And the child actors also sound kind of shitty. So there's one point where they're lying on the bed. And they're like pretending that they can't talk.
They're ill, they're sleeping, they're ill, she's witched us too.
And apparently, according to director Robert Eggers, the little boy who played Jonas had candy in his mouth and was just kind of sucking on the candy for the entire scene when they're supposed to be still and not doing anything to the point where he had to like open the kid's mouth and take it out of it because it was so annoying. So
fuck them kids.
Do with that what you will. But I also want to get into a bit about what each family member means, essentially, because in my readings, every family member, it's all, because, it's all about sort of giving into sin and Satan's influence.
Puritanical values, how does one fall
like
from
the way
God?
that it, like, gets his grip on the family.
Mm-hmm. How does Satan grip you?
So, how does Satan grip you? But, so an interesting thing is, Thomasin is clearly sort of the end goal for Satan. Like, she's endgame for him.
Mm-hmm. Her name literally has sin in it.
Yeah. But because she's kind of she's like the classic puritanical ideal woman. Because she starts the movie by, like, her first lines are her confessing her sins. And saying, like, I've been idle on your day of worship. I have broken every single one of your commandments.
In thought only.
In thought only. So she hasn't really done anything that bad, but she is confessing her sins and calling herself a bad person, which is what the Puritans were all about. Which kind of automatically makes her an ideal target to corrupt, Meanwhile, each of the other family members kind of embody a certain deadly sin of their own. So the father, from the get-go, is pride. He's prideful, and that makes, in terms of God and his own holiness, and that's what gets him kicked out of the plantation.
And his whole fucking family.
Yeah.
This guy refuses to tone down the God so much so that he moves 24 hours. He says it's a full day's journey away from the plantation to live on a little farm with only his family.
Only his family. And he thinks his pride makes him think that he can
in the
grow
right.
corn and that he can do this when he can't.
He doesn't fucking know.
He doesn't fucking know. So he's pride. The mother is greed, and kind of vanity at the same time, because she's obsessed with her silver cup.
Her mother's silver cup.
No, her father's silver cup.
Father's silver cup that mother gave her on the wedding. So it's the representation of her love for her husband through monetary value that he just fucking sells.
He sells. And then lies about.
And he lets Thomasin take the fall for the lie, because the mom's like, did you steal my cup? Because you're younger and prettier than me and you want my thing.
And that's another sin that the mom is. She's jealousy.
Envy.
And then Caleb would be lust, because the way he is just always ogling at his sister.
Yeah.
Always staring.
Fucking stop it. And then he hooks up with the witch.
And then Mercy, the youngest daughter, is wrath, because of the way that she'd just be screaming. She'd be just attacking Thomasin all the time. Like, it's like, really annoying.
You're 5.
She's, at one point, she's just like screaming at her and then pretending to be a witch and just goes, clickety-clackety, while pretending to fly. God, I hate her so much. And then Jonas, the youngest son, is Sloth, because he just doesn't do shit. He doesn't help on the farm at all. And then Thomasin gets blamed for like not watching over them when she had also to do chores. And so
it's hard out here for a 13-year-old living alone with your family on a farm.
So Thomasin's sort of the ideal one, because she doesn't really do anything wrong, which of course would make Satan want to come after her, obviously, because she's just like, his whole John is like to want to corrupt the best one.
Sorry, Emma's parents are being very lovely to each other in the chat, and it is very heartwarming.
Even though I know they're just sitting next to each other.
It's very lovely.
But yeah, so let's get into as well, let's talk more about Thomasin and the idea of feminism and witchcraft within the movie. Because there's kind of a lot to unpack there, because you could kind of see the movie, and some people often do see it as a feminist awakening in a sense, like her taking control of her life.
Gaining power through
but
Satan.
I gotta disagree with that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, let's start with the way that they portray witches within the movie.
Little terribly.
Yeah, so you have some good background on witches.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I know my witching.
So, I mean, like, for one thing, the witches are portrayed as pretty awful throughout it. Like, there's not a lot of redeeming qualities. I mean...
They steal babies.
They steal the baby. They literally just chop off its dick and then mortar and pestle it and then rub it...
Soup?
Yeah, soup. But that is, like, a historical thing that people thought that witches did, where they
grind up babies
then
bathe in their blood.
Bathe in their blood, but also... One thing that the witch does is she takes the entrails, rubs it all over her body, and then also rubs it on her stick, which...
It's not a broomstick,
it's a stick. And while the director has never actually said that she's, like, masturbating...
She's kind of masturbating
with the stick. Mm-hmm. But then you see her fly on it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a big thing of witches flying, but it's because they took the blood of an unbaptized baby, and use that to gain the power of flight. And again, it's not a broomstick. So already, off to a bad start.
Yeah, come on, not all of us.
Yeah, not all of us.
It's hard to find babies. It's gotta wait for somebody to play hide and seek in the woods.
In the woods. I mean, you gotta be waiting in the woods for so long.
Oh my god, honestly. Mm-hmm. And it also kind of portrays them, so in the beginning, the person portraying the witch is shown as an old woman.
Oh, also, wait, quick fun fact. The actual first glimpse that we get of a witch is right after it's stolen the baby and it's running away in a red cloak. It was actually played by the makeup artist.
They had to have somebody run.
And they chose the makeup artist.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, because they had a limited crew. The budget was really low. It was about $4 million,
which is low for Hollywood.
Which is low for Hollywood. And they spent a lot of it on set deck, which a lot of times you couldn't even see because they used all natural lighting. So, like, only candles and things like that, as well as natural lighting, which I think is very interesting.
It was beautiful.
It is a beautifully shot movie, for the record.
The first night of them in the woods all alone, where there's just, like, a campfire and then you see some trees and everything else is dark, that is fucking incredible.
Stunning. Any shot in the woods.
Incredible. 10 out of 10.
Shivers down the spine. Wonderful. But so, what you were going to say with the first shot of...
So the first shot where you see her body is she's naked. It's a butt-naked grandma rubbing baby entrails all over herself. And then when she seduces Caleb, she's suddenly like this beautiful woman. And then when we see the Coven of Witches at the end, they're mostly, unkempt, all naked, of course. And it's just a little bit like, okay, because we see a lot more of the goat.
We see a lot of the goat, and the goat also transforms into Satan.
Into a man.
Pretty handsome.
With nice little boots, but we never see his eyes. He's wearing what's the character? It's not Puss in Boots, but it's the human version of Puss in Boots. Is it Zorro? He's kind of got the, like, Zorro boots and hat.
Three Musketeers, Inigo Montoya vibe.
Very much so. So that's what the devil.
Pretty sexy. I'd sign the book.
I'd say yes.
I'm just saying that I would sign the book. But it's clear that it's like sort of like so at the end of the movie when Thomasin joins up, she has like this look of ecstasy on her face, Like she's just rising up and laughing and singing after being like promised all of these beautiful things. But it is sort of like a handsome man seducing a young girl into giving over her life to him without any real, like, she just, I mean, to be fair,
she lost everything. Like,
her options are very limited. Like,
she's got no prospects.
No, she can either die in the woods, like starve to death because she doesn't have anything. She can go back to the plantation in which she will most likely still be accused of witchcraft because her entire family is dead and were killed under mysterious circumstances, and it's a young girl coming out saying, like, witches killed my family, and they're going to be like, but was it you, though? Did you kill them?
Because we do like to blame women for shit.
We love blaming
as a society, we love to blame women.
The best scapegoats.
Yeah, she would have been ye old Monica Lewinsky. Would have just blamed her for everything.
Just maybe spit alcohol into my eye. She would have been Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky told me I was a cute baby. Fun fact.
Hello?
My parents ran into her at a coffee shop and she saw me and they're like, she was like, cute baby.
Aww.
So, it's a fun Monica Lewinsky fact.
Hi, we're a horror podcast, but we're also Monica Lewinsky stans.
I stand Monica Lewinsky.
She's got a great Twitter.
She does.
Very funny on Twitter.
Powerful lady.
Powerful lady.
Is she a witch? Is she a witch? But yeah, so she doesn't have anywhere to go, really. It's like
That's no option.
my mom just told me that I was in fact 3 when Monica Lewinsky told me I was cute. So I was a cute toddler. Yeah. Anywho, she has no prospects. She's trapped into this life. And while she is kind of choosing like the most self-saving option, it's still, she doesn't have any others. And there is no, and I said hi also to Monica Lewinsky. And she said that I was very cute. So.
Aw.
There you have it. There's a full Monica Lewinsky story told in little parts. But, so.
Like the baby.
Baby, don't get chopped up, guys. So, yeah, she doesn't have any prospects for her to go to. So she's just kind of joining the group, like this coven, as a last resort. And she's signed away her rights. And so, while yeah, it is the best option for her, like there's nothing else she can do that will keep her alive, she's still kind of doomed. And in her head, she kind of sees it as, because he's promised her all these beautiful things. She's promised her, like, wouldst thou like to see the world? And of course she wants to. She's a Puritan girl. She's never seen or done anything. But it seems so far, the movie's given us, is that she's really just going to be living in the woods.
Naked with some other witches,
and
stealing babies.
The only way for her to stay young and beautiful would be to do what was done to her family. So there's just no...
It's another vicious cycle.
Yeah, I don't really see it as... I'm glad that she's happy in that moment. And I know she took the best option, but at the end of the day, it's not looking good for Thomasin.
It's kind of like how people call Midsommar by Ari Aster. They're like, it's a good for her movie. She kills her emotionally distant boyfriend and she's happy about it. It's like, no. She got indoctrinated into a cult.
She is deeply traumatized. She has nothing left.
They're very similar endings, actually, if you think about it.
That's actually very interesting. They are very, very similar endings.
Similar endings. And people read them as like, oh, good for her.
Good for her.
She broke the shackles. And it's like, but she was...
No, she didn't. She got new ones.
She was forced by men to do... And she's gonna do horrible shit because she's still being forced by men. Yeah. It's not a feminist story.
It's not a feminist story. And I think that the director doesn't... Like, I don't think Robert Eggers, I think he sees it as more feminist than it actually is. But I do think that that's because he's a man and just doesn't quite comprehend the idea that for women, it's not about
gaining power over men.
It's about being able to be free to make your own choices. So, like, yeah, at the end, she's naked and dancing.
And she can fucking fly.
She can fly, but that doesn't mean that she... is empowered. It just means that in that moment
she has power.
She has power.
That's a good one. She's not empowered. She just has power.
Yeah, which can be taken away at any moment because she signed a book. She signed a contract to take away anything she wants. So if she says no, is she just gonna go to hell? Probably.
It shuts off like immediately.
It shuts off. Immediate hell. Electric
hell.
chair.
Time to go to fucking hell.
But yeah, it's an interesting debate. Would love to hear
you guys chime in. Sorry, that'll bubble for a bit. Please chime in if you would like. Another point I have to make is the objectification of female bodies. They're all just naked in the woods. We hardly see any of these other witches' faces, even when she's welcomed into their coven. None of them welcome her. Yeah. And if you've ever been around women, you see a new girl and you're like, hi! Like, it should be a celebration of, female empowerment and if this was a feminist telling story.
It should, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it definitely should be more focused on the women that she's joining, and it's just not. It's simply, it's a guy is like, time to get naked and dance in the woods.
Yeah, which is, always fun.
Always fun.
Always a good time, not gonna lie. But, like, there just isn't...
It's not...
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But, like, don't get me wrong, guys. don't get me wrong. Why don't we talk about some of the stuff that we really did love about the movie? Because, to be honest, everyone, I watch this movie every year. Every single October, I watch the VVitch because I have a great time.
It is a great time.
It's a very good movie. It is. I'm a goddamn sucker for historical accuracy. I am all about that. I love it. I love historical accuracy, and it is very hard to find a flaw. And if there is one, Robert Eggers is like, you know what?
I did it. That's on me.
He's like, I had to.
I didn't CG her fucking ear holes. Like, Robert, no one else was looking.
No one else noticed. They are. I didn't see, and that's actually something I often will look for during movies. Like during Game of Thrones, I'll like look at the women's ears a bit and be like, ooh, I see your piercing. But that being said, like there's really not much, and there aren't a huge amount of plot holes either.
No, it's all, this family really just fucking hates each other, and we all know what that's like because we've gone through quarantine, some of us alone, some of us with people, but if you're stuck on a farm for, I think they were there like 6 months, they were there summer into winter, stuck around the same 6 people, and your family, like that's just...
I don't know, I vibe with my family, that's good.
I know, but 6 months on a farm... talking to no other people.
I mean, like, it...
There's no laptops, there's no... They didn't even have books. They had one book, and it was the Bible.
It was the Bible.
It was the Bible. That's how they memorized it. They had nothing else to fucking do.
They're basically Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
They're like, by Job. Yeah, but, like, the cinematography, though. Stunning.
I think all the acting is fantastic. All of it.
I agree.
Even the fucking annoying kids, because they made me hate them.
They're annoying. But they are children. Yeah, but they speak the Jacobean prose very well. Like, I do believe what they're saying. There's not a single person I don't actually believe throughout the movie. And I actually read that, so Thomasin and the actress who plays Thomasin, Anna Taylor-Joy, and the woman who plays their mother, Kate, they were actually like best friends throughout filming, and when they had their big scene where they're strangling, they're screaming, they're crying, they both were like genuinely very upset by it, and had agreed that they were going to just do it once or twice because it was going to be really painful for them, and it comes across, it really does come across, because they are just, it's really awful to see, because it's a mother just hating her daughter so deeply that she wants her dead and blaming her for every single trouble that the family has had.
And I think throughout the movie you see the mom hug each one of the siblings, but she never really interacts with Thomasin in like a close familial way up until the very end when she's literally slumped on top of her, dead. Yeah. And like that's the closest these two women ever get in the movie, which is horrifying and heartbreaking to realize, like, I'm gonna push my dead mother off of me now.
And just covered in her blood. The only person she really, Thomasin, connects to is Caleb and her father, and she gets blamed for Caleb's death. And even in the end, her father turns against her and believes that she's a witch. And he kind of, like, begs her.
He's like, tell me you're not a witch. And she's like, not a witch. And he's like, well,
I just don't believe you, though. So, don't know what to tell you. But it's very upsetting. I mean, the family dynamics and the acting is just like very well done, and the directing is very beautifully done. And I mean, the story is very compelling, especially when you think about it in terms of like how it could be considered a precursor to the Salem witch trials, which was also all about like taking power from women and other people.
And you really see how people convince themselves that what they're doing is right. And even liars, when like the kids are like, oh, she's the witch, and the mom is like, I'm starting to believe that she's the witch. Like you see the thought process where even like throughout the movie you're kind of thinking, oh, is she the witch? Is she? Like shit's happening.
And there's also the theory of some of you may know about like ergot, which is pretty much a fungal poisoning that can happen to corn and wheat that creates paranoia and hallucinations when confirmed. And the corn in the movie is like, moldy
corn.
It got done fucked up corn. And there's like a theory that says like maybe the whole family was just kind of going through because of the ergot poisoning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had nothing else to eat.
Yeah, but what I kind of like is the fact that it's not. Like,
there is a witch.
It's almost like that's a red herring, in a sense, like a very deeply buried red herring. Because it really is a witch all along. It's never Thomasin, it's never the corn. It's only the witches and Satan who's been there the entire time. And another question I have for you is, do you think that Black Phillip has always been Satan, that he traveled with the family, or when Thomasin, during the movie where she kind of talks, like the beginning monologue that she has where she confesses her sins and says that she has been unholy, is that what invites him to the family, this kind of idea of corrupting her, or was he there all along?
I mean, that's a very interesting question. He talks to the twins.
Mm-hmm.
I know it talks to the twins.
But he only talks about it. We only get interactions with him after that moment.
I know
it's a tough question.
It's a very tough question. I'm just trying to think of it in terms of like linear movie logic, because I like that, but also I blame the dad.
You think that the dad was the one who kind of invited Satan to the family
by leaving the township
and making them vulnerable?
I think that's when Satan was like, yeah,
I'm a party with these guys.
Let's have a great time.
It's time to get crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I also love the scene where at the very end everyone's dead. Thomasin's talking to the goat like, are you Satan? You can tell me everyone's dead.
Yeah. Please
tell me you're Satan. I'll sign this book. Satan, I'll do anything for you. And the goat is just like, and then she's like, fuck, all of this is for nothing. Turns around, and then the goat starts talking, and you just see her go like, oh, shit.
No.
Oh, I was about to give you the benefit of the doubt. Goat. Oh, goat. You were Satan.
You were Satan the whole time.
Oh, goat.
Darn. I mean, it would be kind of a relief for me to actually find out that they're
100%. You can be like, oh, thank God, I wasn't
like,
crazy. None of us were crazy. It was Satan.
It was Satan at the end of the day. That would be a big relief for me, honestly.
Because could you imagine, like, the goat just didn't talk, and the movie ends with her, like, rucksack?
But it really does seem like it could go either way.
Yeah, no, 100%.
If there weren't for the cut-ins of the witches, like, of the witch
doing witch
shit, fucking mincing that baby.
Naked mincing a baby, kissing some 10-year-old boys.
Blech. That actress who plays the, like, hot witch is a Victoria's Secret model.
Damn!
Yep. She's a Victoria's Secret model from Australia.
Oh, very fun.
They said that she was great.
She was great. She didn't have any lines, but she looked sexy, and then she kissed a 10-year-old boy.
She did. I don't think I could do that role. I don't think I could do it. I think I would feel deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would be very difficult as an actress. Speaking of things that are very difficult as an actress, the woman who played the older version of the witch was naked for...
Well, she was somewhat naked, because one of the biggest issues that they had with the movie, because they didn't like to use a lot of CG, as I think I may have stated before, but the biggest CG moments came from editing out modesty garments for the actors. So, like, the old woman, the old witch, apparently that scene was very difficult for them
to edit out.
Yeah.
And a fun fact about that actress is she also was the German teacher in Mean Girls. That's one of she's been in other things, but her two biggest credits are The Witch and the VVitch and the German teacher in Mean Girls.
Hell yeah. Bethesda.
What a career. Yeah, her name is Bethesda.
In the movie. Bethesda.
No, that's her name in real life.
Her name in real life is
Bethesda? That's her name, sorry. I'm gonna
oh, what a dope name. Oh, yes. I really love that.
Bethesda Garnett.
I love her.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Bethesda.
If a woman walked into my casting room and is like, my name is Bethesda, here you're talking about a witch movie, cast on the spot. You're
done. Well, it's kind of reminiscent of Bathsheba from The Conjuring. So, we'll bath bitches.
Bath bitches?
Bath bitch.
Bathy bees?
Bathy bee girl.
She's a real bath bee.
She's a real bath bee. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I love the movie overall. Well, I think there are some, like, I think the flaws from the movie, I think actually just come from the discourse around it, rather than the movie itself.
Yeah, 100%.
Because of, I mean, other than fucking Mercy and Jonas, because God, I hate those twins. Oh, and that's another interesting thing that I wanted to talk about. So at the end of the movie, Mercy and Jonas just disappear. They're just
we don't see
gone.
Their bodies.
We do not see their bodies. And so I was doing a wee bit of reading, and it turns out that, so when Thomasin goes up to the fire, where she's about to like float and shit, it's a big, big fire, and as stated before, witches can use like children and baby entrails to let themselves float. So most likely,
that's where the twins went.
They be burning
in the fire.
Yeah, they're burning, which means that like Thomasin did kind of help sacrifice her twin younger siblings to the coven.
That was deserved.
I stand by the decision, but like, you know,
girl boss.
Other people might not.
They haven't seen the movie and they haven't heard how annoying those twins are.
Fucking annoying those twins are. And another fun fact I did want to discuss is the notion of the hair throughout it. Because one of the motifs throughout the movie is this like rabbit hair that pops up, and it really just freaks out Caleb because it'll just show up and just kind of stare at him with really creepy eyes. And the director, Robert Eggers, said that anybody who's curious about that should look up the connotations between witches and hares, because it said that, you know, within like ye olden times, that witches would turn into hares specifically to do like mischievous evil deeds, rather than just like having a familiar, like they would transform into them to do bad things. And the hares pop up whenever something really, really bad is about to happen. And so I think that that's a great sort of little detail in there that relates to the actual historical beliefs of the time.
I thought you were going to talk about like their hairstyles, because she starts the movie with her hair all the way back, and as she gets corrupted by Satan, her hair comes undone. But you were talking about a bunny. You made a great point, lovely point.
You were talking about a bunny.
You were talking about a rabbit. I thought you were talking about hairstyles.
No, that is actually a great point with her.
You see her coming undone. You see the family coming undone.
And that actually goes to the mom as well. At the end of the movie, when the mom is killing or trying to kill Thomasin, her hair is also completely undone. Same with the witches. So I guess like that's
because they start the movie, because I noticed it was funny. They're in like the little funny Puritan caps and hats. They're double hatting it. When they're in the church, double hatting.
And then it's just one hat, and then it's no hat,
and then it's braided, and then it's all the way.
Long
witchy women.
But back to my original point. I think that at the end of the day, the biggest issue is the discourse around it, and people assuming that it's a feminist empowerment movie when it's really just telling a story about one family's descent into chaos and madness that was really I would not say that Satan caused everything. I think it was more like a catalyst and like a slight influence, because they could have made different choices. They were never set in their ways. Like they could have easily, the dad could have not been a fucking dick.
It would have been so easy to resist Satan, but by living godly lives and what they assumed to be God-fearing behavior,
invited Satan in. And then Satan just took these opportunities to do really, really awful things. But they're the ones who decided to blame Thomasin. They're the ones who decided to lie. He lied to steal the silver cup. Maybe Satan caused their corn to rot, maybe, but also maybe the corn was just rotting.
Yeah.
Maybe it just ended up that way. And so I personally believe that it's nothing, even if Robert Eggers meant for it to be about her kind of finding her womanhood and finding a way out of a bad situation. Movies are meant for interpretation. Like whatever the original intent is, you can kind of make your own. I don't see it that way. I see it as a story about a family making all the wrong choices with dark influences and having a ton of awful things happen to them, causing a young woman who should have been able to have a successful life and who was like
living in a town, doing her thing,
like
a godly woman.
Yeah, she could have had a very nice life. Causes her to end up in yet another situation in which she's trapped, but she just doesn't quite realize it yet. Because she's dedicated. It's almost like she went into a cult instead. That's just my personal onion.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's a good onion.
Yeah.
Not rotten.
Not rotten, unlike the corn. Brother.
Rotten onions.
Brother, would you like some corn?
Brother, some corn, some bread, some butter.
What would you say? Would you concur?
Yeah, 100%. No, it's a very good story.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those movies where if somebody was like, they're making a sequel, I would smack them.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly self-contained. It's a good tale.
I completely agree with that. If there was a sequel, it would just be bad.
Some stories don't need sequels. Like, we don't need to know what happens to her. I think that would ruin it.
I will say, so we watched it the other night with our roommate and my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he thought it ended semi-abruptly, which, speaking of roommate,
we just said roommate.
Mm-hmm. Our roommate Grace has just walked in. But he said that he felt like it ended rather abruptly.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And I have to disagree with that.
I disagree with that completely, because I felt like the entire thing was building up to Black Phillip goring the dad, and then Mom killing Thomason.
Mm-hmm.
And then the witch, that just happened at the end. Say hi, Grace, you can come.
You're coming on camera, babe.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a camera. Hello.
I realized I may have been off camera this whole time. That's fine.
Lean in, doing a little lean.
But yeah, I think that was the perfect sort of climax for it.
Mm-hmm.
And Grace, come here.
I have a few points to make.
Give us your points. So we're going to have a little...
Oh, wait, would you like to grab a glass? Because we have drink.
Yeah.
We've made our cocktails.
I would absolutely ignore that.
This is the part of the podcast where it devolves into chaos. It's time here.
So we're going to have a little guest star right now of our roommate, Grace.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't know if any of this has been said, but can I curse on this?
Yes.
I don't know. I can't remember. Rat shit children.
We've been talking about that
Rat
for
shit
20 minutes.
These are such
Horrible.
shit about those
We
kids.
hate the
Horrible
kids.
children.
We hate
2, blood stash. It's the newest trend
Oh,
for
shit.
Halloween.
Yeah, so when she kills her mom, it looks like a mustache.
Yeah.
It's pretty sexy, and I think that all the cool kids are gonna be wearing it around this time of year.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Zelda did just
Absolute
spill.
chaos.
Listen, wait, here, you have to top it off. It'll bubble over. Just put it on my pants. They're for the wash anyway. No, what's in Emma's hands? Just dump it on wipe it on my pants.
Okay, perfect.
Actually, you can wipe it on my Bullhorn sponsored t-shirt. We're both wearing them. Because we
So
love
cute.
Bullhorn.
We do love Bullhorn, but
so blood stash. She hesitated too long when he offered up the book. Like, come on, girl, you have no family left. No one left to love you. Your mom didn't love you in the first place, so why not just give it all up and just go for it? What was she gonna do?
As a counterpoint, I did read that the director he felt bad that he wanted that originally a scene.
You did it too!
Oh, we've devolved into chaos now, my friends.
Well, it's done.
Oh my
I've
God.
spilled all over my
Paper
pants.
towels.
Thank you.
It's to be expected, but he did say that he if he could go back, he would have wanted to add in a scene of the mother and daughter being a bit more
Loving?
with each other. So
Because they didn't like each other for most of that
Well,
movie.
then when she was killing her, she was like, I love you,
she was
Yeah,
saying,
don't kill me, I love you. That's the... well, say what?
yeah, she was saying over and over again, like, I love you.
It's just sad as shit.
It's just
Like,
very,
that's
very
just
sad. But there was no kind of moment of love shared between them, which kind of makes it a little bit less, like,
Aww.
yeah.
Killing your mom is a hard thing to do.
It's a hard thing to do, but the mom kind of sucked for all of the movie.
She did let a crow suckle on her, so.
She did. We did speak about that.
It was done in one
Speaking
take.
of,
Yeah,
yeah, there he is.
For those
Even
of you
the suckle.
watching,
Mm-hmm.
there's
That
a
was the
crow.
suckler.
That was the suckler.
Mr. Suckles.
Yeah.
Any other
All right.
thoughts?
No, I mean, that's my main things. I'm about to make these two lovely ladies dinner.
Mhm.
She makes it hard because she can't eat dairy,
I can.
and I must improvise.
She must. But what's your final thoughts on the movie?
I really enjoyed it. So the first time I watched it, I was actually with my ex-boyfriend, and we walked out immediately, and he was like, "That's the worst I've ever seen." I was like, "Well, now I can't say that I liked it because that's going to cause a fight. He's going to say that I'm being like
contrarian.
Contrarian. So I had always just like told myself that I was like, it's not that good, but like, which is cool.
You're wrong. You were wrong.
And I was wrong. Like, it was very, very.
It's
good.
a very well done movie.
It was Ari Aster before.
It was.
It's a blueprint.
It's the blueprint. A24 blueprint, guys.
Yeah, it is.
So would I recommend you watch this movie? Yes, I would.
Yes, watch the movie.
Yes, I would.
It's good to watch with people.
If you don't like kind of deeply unsettling horror, then I'd probably miss it. Because it does have a lot of stuff that makes you
loud, like droning noises.
The sound design is really, really crazy and really, I love it. The sound design.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it is very, very jarring. So if you're not interested in that sort of thing, not interested in feeling unsettled, there's not a lot of pop outs or anything like that. But I just wouldn't suggest that for you. If you are okay with those things, then fucking watch the movie. Hell yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And now we are winding down. So if anyone would like to call in, if you have any chats, any questions, I think we're gonna take 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll say goodnight if anyone still has anything going on. Anyone want to chat? We've stopped the recording. We're all good. We're all friends here. We've spilled champagne on our pants.
Mm-hmm.
Grace is cooking dinner. It's all casual. You know, I can see there are 6 of you here. One of them might be Emma.
One of them is me.
One of them is Emma. But if you'd like to say hello, if you'd like to tell us you enjoyed this.
And if not, then we'll see you next time. What's our next?
We've got Corpse Ride on the 16th.
Yes. So if that's, for those of you who aren't interested in seeing the VVitch.
Corpse Ride is for all ages.
Corpse Ride is for all ages, and it is a great movie.
It's a musical.
It's a musical. It's fun. Zelda spilled again.
No, I didn't. I saved it. But damn, at the bottom,
it gets bubbles.
It bubbles.
All right.
Hi, Kat. Thank you so much for listening, as always.
Okay, I feel like then, are we...
Yeah, if no one's going to call in, I'm going to count down from 7, if that's a witchy number. And if no one wants to do anything, we're going to say goodbye, and we're going to say thank you.
But thank you all very much for listening.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. It's only Kat. Mwah, mwah. We love you very much. See you next time.
Bye.
Across
the van.